Hey guys, it is Ascension Angel here and welcome to another Neca Predator action figure review. And today in this video we are taking a look at the Predator 2 30th Anniversary Ultimate Snake Predator by Neca. And well, this is so far the second best Predator in terms of paint jobs that I've ever actually purchased. We will get to that in a bit because this guy has got a lot going for him in terms of his paint. He's not perfect, there are a few things I would have liked to be done better, but compared to the previous two members of the Lost Tribe that I reviewed, this guy is the best. And with him, Shaman and the Ultimate Elder, or Grayback as he's known as, the paint job quality has tremendously increased. But we're going to get to that in a bit. As always, we'll start with the incredible box packaging, which has the amazing artwork by Tristan Jones. I love the fact that he's doing artwork for all of these. I adore the artwork on these boxes. And this is why, even if you are an out-of-package collector like myself, I highly recommend keeping the boxes. Because in my opinion, the box is part of the collectible. Or at the very least, just keeping this front flap. Because the artwork, I mean, that art is just so nice. It's like it on all of them. The art is great. You can see we've got Snake here. He's got his spear and one of his special Thang scythe blades, and he's literally tearing the shit out of a military truck. We've got Predator 2 here with the nice embossed foil, so if you run your finger across it, you can actually feel it. It does stick out a bit. It's slightly raised, which is awesome. Ultimate Snake Predator, obviously. We look at the top. It's got the same here. Of course, the usual warning stuff. Not that you would give this to a child anyway, but they've got to put that on to cover their arses. Got the Neca logo right there, ages 17 and up. The same on there, except it says 30th anniversary. And this side more or less the same, except it says number 9, Ultimate Snake Predator. Look at the bottom, we've got the manufacturing. So it was made in the 8th of November 2022, which was last year. And you can see we've got the direction, design and development was Randy Falk, Stefan Folkens and David Silver. David Silver was also one of the sculptors, along with Jason Fraley. John Wardell and Geoffrey Trapp did the painting. TrueCast did the prototypes, and the photography was by Stephen Mazurek, with the packaging done by Chris Longo, and of course the artwork by Tristan Jones. Neca logo, the Real Toys, which is a division of Neca, which they're the ones that make all the movie figures. They're made in China, you know, all the copyright stuff, the recyclable blah blah. If you take a look at the opening flap, I've got to be careful because I did just have to glue this back on as this stick on this Velcro wore out. We get this fucking awesome artwork right here. Sorry, not artwork, picture right here of the Snake wielding his two very, very unique weapons. His two amazing Thang scythe blades, and he's unmasked as well. Pretty much just as how you saw him in Predator 2, but just without the blades. And then we get the backdrop right here, and you can see me here. Hello. And you also get the little cardboard tag there as well. And we come to the back, we get some nice shots of him here. You see there he's using a smart disc, there with his specially designed masked head, and there with his spear. You see the other members right here, and includes the open and closed spears, open and closed throwing discs, well, I should say smart discs, but whatever. Fang blades, half cape, fur pauldron and belts. Bone necklace, human skull and spine, and interchangeable heads and hands. So, with that, here's the bio. Snake Predator. Hailing from the infamous Serpent clan, the Snake Predator specialises in close combat and quick precision strikes. A product of the Yautja underworld, Snake was raised in an environment where the greatest threats were often those closest to him, including his own brother Viper. After being trained in the deadly arts, Snake went on to become a master assassin for his clan, accepting secret missions from anyone influential enough to barter for his service. Elders would often employ his talents in order to gain leverage over an opposing clan, in extending their wealth and power. Armed with unique double-blade hand scythes, Snake has no use for clunky plasma casters, which allows his attacks to be silent and undetectable. Though not a true member of the Lost Tribe, Snake is occasionally tasked to oversee and assist with their hunts, since their leader, Grayback, also has a debt to the Serpent clan, a debt that is to be repaid in highly coveted off-world trophies. That's actually pretty cool. And Neca did release the Viper Predator a while back, but he was on the older body type, the older Jungle Hunter body type, which just had the hinged swivel elbows, ball jointed wrist, and the cut jointed waist. And he was actually what became their homage, their homage to the Kenner ambush predator, which the Kenner ambush predator became. Instead of being a character, it became a pieces of armor that made the predator look cloaked and you know, armored up, and also invincible for a time. And it was Viper that was the one that was basically wearing that armor, and he was given that release, and he was also given his own release without the effects of the armor on him. So it's pretty cool actually that Neca are expanding the backstories for these guys with written lore and accessories, and I dig it. I really dig it. So that's the box packaging and the bio and the amazing artwork. Now let's get into the action figure itself and see what we get. Okay, so we get a total of 14 accessories with this guy, which is a nice amount. So as always, we'll start with the hands. And I have here the 2 open hands. Now, one thing to note, while these do look very good, there is one major problem, which is they are very, very similar to Guardian's hand. If I bring in the disc hands from Snake, this is Snake's and this is Guardian's. They're very, very similar looking, as you can see. Very similar. So it's actually it's going to be a little difficult to tell which goes with who. But this one is Guardian's, while this is Snake's. So just wanted to put that out there, that, you know, because I've had a bit of trouble myself as I keep all my accessories in one box that I'm not using, and sometimes it can be a little tricky to tell which is which. But these are them, the same sculpts that we've had as always, but the paint is quite nicely done. Very spotty, which is cool. The very clean on the wrappings of the glove area, and they're very clean on the little spikes here as well, which is nice. And then we do get the disc hand, which I'll show much closer. As you can see, very, very nicely done. A little bit of over silver there, but it's not a big deal. Very, very nice looking. And then we get the 2 gripping hands. Now, I'll show this one off first. So this one, as you see, looks pretty good. Now this one here, this is not a unique sculpt. This is actually the standard gripping hand. I'll just grab mine from the City Hunters. I have it nearby. They are the same hand, but because of forcing the blade into his hand, it has pushed the material up, which is fine. This is a soft vinyl, as you can see, so, you know, it doesn't bother me really. If anything, I'm actually glad it happens because it helps for holding his blades. So if I was to force one of his weapons into this hand, it would end up like this. But this is the City Hunters, not Snake's. So this would be a much tighter grip, but it works well for the blades. Speaking of blades, we do get those 2. I'll show them off. These are a bit of the pièce de résistance. They're very nice. They're both the same, but they both look absolutely fantastic, and they're very much like fangs of an actual snake. You know, actual I can't remember the term, viperids, I think it is. I did do some studying on snakes at one point, and these are very much like fangs. If you had like a head like that, these would jut out, and they literally look like actual fangs, which is really cool. And I like how one's longer than the other. It makes them, one blade is longer than the other, like I said, makes them very unique. They're both the same. Next we get is the 2 versions of the combi stick, and this is very unique in terms of its paint job. I do wish these little bits, these little squares were painted black, as they are actually a control pad, which is what makes it extend. I remember because there's one scene in Predator 2 where the City Hunter actually presses on these and it retracts. It goes from being fully extended to this. But this does look good. Again, nice paint job. And then we come to this version, which is a teeny bit warped. A little bit warped. Because this piece is soft while these are hard. And this does look good. I like how the ends are silver, but the rest of it's kind of a goldish, brassy colour. It really does look good. Obviously, this would not be gold or brass, because they would not be a hard enough material, because gold is very soft. And brass is an alloy, and it's not that hard either. So it is obviously an alien metal, but it looks good. Very shiny too. The light's kind of coming in and shining on it, and it does look really nice. The next we get are the two versions of the smart disc. We get the closed version and the open version. In fact, as well, what's interesting is I'll get the open version, the closed version from my Ultimate City Hunter, just so you can see that they are both coppery, but Snake's is an older one. As you can see, Snake's is darker. The City Hunter's is more new, more freshly made, while this one by it came with Snake, you know, is a kind of an older version, one that's seen a bit more action, starting to go. It's a little bit darker, so it's already started to oxidize, which is pretty cool. And same sculpt as always. And he does have a disc hole, so I'll show how this fits on. And of course, as always, you can take the disc hand and it'll fit in the closed one, and it will also fit in the open one. And because, like I said, the hands are soft, flexible vinyl, the fingers will flex and they'll fit in. It's a little bit tricky with the thumb, but you can get it in where it'll wedge in, and it looks pretty good. So it actually saves them retooling a hand, which is good. The next we get is this very clean skull and spinal column trophy. What's interesting to note is that I'm a bit baffled because Guardian and Scout didn't actually come with one of these, which is a little bit of a shame. Some of the other Lost Tribe members do. Grayback, I believe, comes with one of these. The City Hunters, you know, came with one. His was a bloody version, which was King Willie's. And I really wish that some of the others came with them too. It would have been quite nice to just have because if you guys saw one of my videos a couple of months ago, my Predator collection, you know that I put a bit of blue tack on the back of the heads and I stick all these on the wall and have kind of like my own makeshift trophy wall. I'll do that with every single skull, and you know what they say about these, right? Even if you got 20 of these in with one Predator, the more the merrier, because obviously you wouldn't get 20, but you know, Predators like their trophies. If you had a wall just on a shelf with just these all attached onto them, hey, your Predators have been out going hunting and taking loads of trophies, and it would look very good. So I wish every Predator came with one of these as standard. It's a shame they don't, but hey, at least we got one here with Snake, and his is very unique, almost like kind of dusty looking almost, which is cool. Very nicely painted. Now the next accessory we get is the masked head, and this is very, very nice. It's almost chromy. It's not chrome, but it's a very shiny silver paint with a slight bit of a brownish, maybe copperish wash on it. And this just looks friggin' beautiful. The detailing, the sculpt on this is nice. The paint is all brilliant. And what's really cool as well, the back there is all nicely painted. It looks fucking beautiful. And I'll just get my just get a torch here because I want to show you guys this. If I shine it right in the eyes, you can see he doesn't actually have lenses in this mask. You can see his eyes in there, which is very cool. I'm not sure how well. You can sort of see it there, both of them, which is very, very cool. That you can see his eyes in that, and it does look good. Nice soft dreads. He's got the shorter dreads this time, and because we have the masked head, we also have the amazingly painted unmasked head, and this thing is just fucking gorgeous. Look at all that delicious, lovely, wonderful detail on it. This thing is fantastic. I display him with this. I do feel that, you know, with certain unmasked heads, if you were to display them with the masked heads and not use those unmasked heads, it would be a bit of a crime. But with what I've been seeing of all the Ultimate Lost Tribe members, I think I might be displaying them all pretty much unmasked, because their unmasked heads are so freaking cool. They're so unique looking, so awesome, and even though most of them were masked in the film, I can't help but display them unmasked, because they're just so neat, and this is no exception. This looks really very good. In fact, if we just compare the back, look, they've done that good of a job that it's identical, right down to this not being centered. you know, it's not centered on this one, it's not centered here as well, which is really very cool. And I tell you what, whoever painted this has done an amazing job. Now the black isn't, as you can see where my thumb is, the black isn't quite on line there, but it's not a big deal, you know. I don't mind. Hey, it could just be natural in his skin. It's done in a way where it looks natural, even if it is slightly out of line. It looks natural, and, you know, if it's skin pigments and whatnot, so I am not going to fault it, but it does look really damn good. Now there is one final thing I do want to show off, which you don't actually have to have on the figure, but I do. It is, I don't know if it is an accessory or not, but it's something that is on him, he's wearing it, which is this fur pelt piece. Now it's sculpted under here, but it's very, very unique, as you can see. It's actual faux fur. It's not real, obviously. It's obviously a poly material. There is only one problem with this, which is, well, you can very easily pull chunks out of it. So do be careful with this, because, you know, you don't want to pull chunks out or have it near something where it could catch and then rip chunks out, and then, you know, it's going to look wrecked. This is actually quite cool, because in the original version of Snake, in fact, you know what, let me just show you. Yep, there you go. You can see on the waist and the shoulder, there's some of it compared with the Ultimate figure. You can see the differences between the two are night and day. The sculpted one on the right and the fur one on the left. Yeah, so, like I just said, they didn't have to do this, but they did. They made it an actual piece of cloth. They made it look like real fur, and I'm pretty grateful for that. They didn't have to. I would have been okay, just perfectly fine if it was just the standard plastic one that they did many years ago. But the fact that they went the extra route and made this look like real fur is incredible. Hey, it's an extra touch. It shows that despite all of Neca's faults, they do actually give a shit about their fan base and making a good looking product. So now let's get on to the figure itself. But first, we will attach the accessories. So, attaching the accessories is pretty simple. We'll start with the disc. Move his arm out the way. So you take the disc, and it doesn't matter which orientation it's in, but as you can see, I like to have the fingers lined up there. So you kind of just smush it in, and you just have to get this lip around, like so. And with a bit of work, you can get all this lip around, and it will hold in. And it holds in pretty nicely. This one actually went in a lot easier than all the others. The hands are fairly easy. I'm going to use the gripping hands, so we'll take this here. You've got the straight peg. There's a hole right there in the forearm. You just push in and give it a bit of a twist. If it helps, bend the hand and then press your finger here. There's no wrist blade, so it's a lot easier. And of course, if you're interchanging, just pull and twist. I'll just pop that one in. I'll show you the same with the other arm. Again, always being mindful. Usually wrist blades are on this side, so bend the hand like that, so you can put your finger on the back of the wrist, and then when you're putting it in, you can push here, and then it enables a little bit of leverage and makes it easier. And then the head, I'm going to show him off in a minute with the shoulder pelt, but I want to show the paint job without it, just so you can really see it. The head, Ava head, as you can see, there's a hole with a straight peg in the ball. You just line it up. Usually it helps if you get the arms in a T pose, so you can properly grab the body. And if you're, you know, pulling it off, like that, easy. This one's actually snapping in quite nicely. Okay, so before I show him with the pelts and the other little necklace thing that he comes with, they always seem to come with these, I just want to show off the amazing paint on his body, all over him. The arms, we'll start with the arms first. The arm is nicely done. I do wish that the arms, they seem to be a bit, they're okay, they're very nicely done, but I do wish they're a bit more like this. Not netting necessarily, but you'll see what I mean when I discuss how the skin's done here. But they are, you know, they do look pretty good, nice and clean detail work. The forearms are new here. They are retooled from those old ones that we saw with the old figure. So originally they were just a disc hinge with a straight peg. So originally you would get that much and you could rotate it, but here they've been modified so they fit in with this new double jointed elbow. Well, I say new, it's new for Snake, but it's been around for ages now. It still looks really good. You can see it's a nice piece of leather wrapping and it ties all the way around here. So it's kind of like weaved through almost like a shoelace, and he's wrapped it around and tied it. It's got the same thing going on the other side, which is pretty cool. And it's not just a case of they've used one piece. You can see that they're both actually unique sculpts. If I get him to show his forearms here, you can see that they're very, very different. So this is a case where they could have just made one piece and used it for both, but they didn't. So that is greatly appreciated. We get the this piece of armour, which drives me nuts because it usually goes to the left or to the right and never stays in the centre, so I might glue it. But it does look pretty good here. And then the underside is not really painted, not a big deal. We get more of this fur pelt going along, which is very cool. Very, very cool indeed. You can sort of see where it's separating there a bit, and they glue that down. But you can see here, if you look at the material there, you can see how it's stitched and attached, and then it's glued on. You get more of this fabric piece on his bum, like that, a bit like what we got with Scout. And then we come to the hip armour, which is nice and coppery. Oh, forgot we do have the typical crotch plate as well. Nice coppery, darker copper. Same with the knees and the shin guards and the feet, which look pretty good. And then we get to the body and the legs. We'll start with the legs first. Look at the frigging paint job on that. Now ignore the netting for the minute. The way they've done the spots and stuff on his legs, it's almost like they've painted them like the arms and then put a slight wash around it, and it blends it in, and it looks fucking beautiful. Now another thing as well is the netting on this. Apart from that little bit right there where my thumb is, and that little bit and maybe some bits there where it's missed, the rest of the netting on this figure is clean as fucking crisp, and I love that. Because usually, as you know, netting is a right pain in the arse for them to get right. This guy has it great, and I had the honour of picking this up in the store, so I got to choose the best one. They had 3 and I chose the best one. We'll look at the other leg as well. You can see very nicely done. All the shading on the skin, it looks great. It kind of makes me wish they hadn't actually painted netting now, because then we could see this in all of its glory, but the netting was there in the film, so they've got to make it accurate. And it does look good. It does look very good. We turn it around, and again, it continues, and it looks so friggin' nice. The bum, however, unfortunately, is a little bit of a letdown. As you can see, it's not quite painted as well as the legs, which is, you know, a bit of a shame, but it's still well done. It's just kind of looks a little out of place when this is so nicely done. And then we come to the fronts, which looks very, very nice. As you can see, nicely done. Loving the chest patterns. They look really cool. Really, really, really nice. You see it goes all the way around. For just get his arm out of the way, or get both his arms. You see that it continues, around here, then around here, and then we look at the back, and oh, that just looks gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous paint job. And again, the netting is so beautifully clean as well. It is on point. It's on the sculpted lines, and I could not be happier with all the paint. If I pull the head off, just so you can see, it also continues around the shoulder area as well, and it's very nicely done. Even the neck is nicely done as well. It just looks great. And now I'll attach the shoulder piece. It's easy. But first, the little necklace thing goes on like so. And then this piece, as you can see, it's got a kind of fold in it. So you loop it around the arm. You put it there. And then you just attach the head on. You know what? I'll put the masked head on just so you guys can see him with his masked head. I'll do that with the articulation. Come on. This head's a bit fucking tight. There we go. Just show that off. It does look good, does it not? It's a very unique head, but I have to display him unmasked, because that unmasked head's just too beautiful to not use. It's very, very nicely done. So for Snake's articulation, it is the same as the others, except with one thing that's different. So the head is on a ball peg, so it can look up, down. Actually, it's meant to be like that size, so it does look up. Not as much. I think the sculpt of the unmasked head might be, the masked head might be hindering a bit. So it does go up. It does go down. Sorry. So for Snake's articulation, it's mostly the same as the others, but with one thing that's slightly different. So the head can look up and down because it's on the ball peg, and it can lean side to side, and of course you can rotate it. The shoulders are on the pin and socket joint with a disc hinge, so they will rotate all the way around. You can just sort of see the disc right in there, so they can also swing out to the side, which is nice. You have a bicep rotation, a double joint at the elbow, so the primary joint gets 45 degrees, and then you use the secondary joint and you can get them going past 90. Now usually there would be a gauntlet swivel, however there isn't one here because it's all one piece, which I'm glad, because this cloth piece just wouldn't need to rotate. The wrists are on a hinge and a swivel, so the straight peg, as you saw, that goes into the forearm, rotates, and you've got the little disc hinge in there for all your movement. Now the diaphragm and the waist are on ball joints. The waist is a single ball peg, the diaphragm is a double ball peg, or a barbell joint as it's known as, so you can crunch them forward, and again they still have an incredible range for getting going forward. As you can see, that is quite a nice amount forward. And if I arch him back, and this is me really forcing it, by the way, which I try to be careful about, you can see going back, very, very nice. That is fantastic range of movement. Leaning side to side is not quite as much. It's still pretty good. Obviously, you've got these kind of rib sculpts here. And then, of course, you can rotate at the diaphragm if you want, but you're mainly going to be rotating at the waist. Oh, and if you guys have seen my previous video, which I just uploaded, which was Scouts, I can happily confirm that whatever problem there was with the waist joint is fixed, because this guy has not got it at all. It's a little bit wobbly now, as I mentioned, because I've just been articulating it, but it's whatever it was, the degradation's fixed. So if you pick up Snake, you're not going to have to worry about it. Now the legs, as you guys know, they're on that interconnecting pin system, so moving one will move the other, but you can move them independently, so they will kick very high up. They will kick back, but the bum will hinder it. You can get very, very good splits there. See the ball hinges there, a little bit of lubricant in the joints as well that they've placed in to enable it to move, which is good. You get a nice upper thigh rotation. Again, that shiny stuff is more the lubricant in it, which is good. It means the joints aren't going to lock up. Then we have the double jointed knee, which using the primary hinge gets you 90, and using the secondary joint gets you going pretty far back, which is good. And then the foot is on the ball peg, which we've all come to know and love, so it goes up very nicely, down very nicely. And the pivot on this, I wonder if it's the material that's on this particular figure, but the pivot is very good. May not look much like that, but then when you put the legs out, that is actually quite a wide stance. And that's a bit of a bizarre pose, isn't it? And of course, being a ball peg, you can also pivot it the other way if you wanted, and you can indeed rotate it. So if you want to rotate it, you can. But these are very good ball pegs on the feet. They are the best ball pegs besides the head. And overall, Snake, he's friggin' brilliant. I absolutely love this guy. I've got to get the other members of the Lost Tribe, really. But since the release of Boar, I know that Boar, Shaman, Snake, and Elder, or Grayback as you know as, when they were released, there was a massive upgrade in the quality of the paint from Neca, because this guy, along with those other three that I just mentioned, they look amazing. That's not to say that the other members of the Lost Tribe that were released don't look good, because they do. Even Scout to a degree, but he should have been painted better. Whatever. They look really good. And this these figures go to show that Neca can take any character with literally less than 2 to 5 seconds of screen time and turn them into a complete ultimate, fleshing them out more with backstories and loads of unique accessories and whatnot. And it also goes to show that every single Predator that they release as a figure can be done in this ultimate format. Even if we saw the Predator for 2 seconds, like with these guys, you can design stuff, they can design stuff for them and make them really, really awesome figures that are worth adding to your collection. And this guy is definitely worth it. Like, look at all these bloody poses you can take with him and whatnot. Really good joints as well. The joints on this guy have no joint issues. Absolutely adore looking at this figure. He is one of the best ones I've ever done. Just absolutely incredible, and you can see now with some of the group shots with the other 3 that I've got. I'm going to keep doing this, so every time I get another one I'll be taking the group shots, slowly building it up. That being said, if you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to like the video and post a comment. It helps out a bunch. And if you want to keep up to date on the new videos I upload, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. And with that, guys, I will see you all in the next video, where we will be reviewing a big Predator.